Don't waste your time learning. There's a very big difference between learning and studying. Okay. The interest itself expands. That's when you read more. So when you say don't waste your time learning a language, it's foolish. You have to get intimidated when you speak to native speakers. I've heard a lot of people because they also make mistakes. They don't know the technical side. Don't waste your time learning. If you have a similar thought in your mind, I think you need to reconsider and rethink, because learning doesn't stop. Welcome to another video on my channel. This is Rini Rose Matthew. If you're visiting the channel for the first time, please do not hesitate to read the channel description. Well, you cannot stop learning anything in life. As I told you, it's a combination of both conscious and subconscious effort, thought, deed, whatever you want to call it. Now, when it comes to the English language, you have the beginner, the intermediate, and the advanced learner. Of course, we have got different levels: A1, A2, B1, B2. Okay, I've already mentioned about this particular point in one of my videos. You may fall or dangle between the beginner and the intermediate level. Sometimes you could be between the intermediate and advanced level. Doesn't matter. Learning happens. There's a very big difference between learning and studying. Now, when you're a beginner, when you're not very sure of certain things, when you don't have at least 80% of that communication skill, the idea of forming sentences or the right usages, you may have to study certain areas for some time where you take the conscious effort. At the same time, you will have to keep learning. So more of studying and maybe a little bit of learning in between. I'm not saying that you should stick to only this idea, but this is what happens, because till you get a grip or till there's a kind of consistency in your progress, you need to do this. Now, when you reach the intermediate level, you may have a balance. You study, you learn, you study, it happens. Now, advanced learners, they need not sit and study for long period of time, for maybe 5 to 6 hours. But it's okay if you take the effort, if you revise certain things. Now, what I'm trying to tell you is learning happens every time. So if I ask you, how did you learn your native language, you may tell me, I don't remember exactly. I think I just started speaking. I listened. So it's more about imbibing. You imbibed your mother tongue. It's more about absorbing, listening, reading little bit, and maybe speaking. So listening, speaking, listening, you get corrected on the way. In the process, you listen and you understand, oh, this is the right usage. It happens, not because it happens when you're a child, but you absorb. Now, when it comes to a foreign language, first of all, you don't have to get intimidated when you speak to native speakers. I've heard a lot of people from different IT companies and MNC companies, or even people working with different educational teams, saying that I get intimidated when I speak to a native speaker, because they also make mistakes. They don't know the technical side. They may not know. Everyone may not know the technical side of learning a language. So learning doesn't happen when you don't take the interest. Now, this interest slowly widens and it becomes passion for some people. For some people, it remains as an interest, and that's okay. The interest itself expands. That's when you read more, you get to experiment with different types of languages. So this develops, the studying part develops, the interest develops, you enjoy. So then you have studying, lot of interest, you simply enjoy, and then there is this learning that's happening. So learning again widens. From the beginner level to the advanced level, it just widens. It opens the door to many things. So when you say don't waste your time learning a language, it's foolish. Learning just happens. Even if you don't have the intention of learning something, it happens. That is when you enjoy the content, simultaneously you're paying attention to some words here and there. Because you shouldn't lose that process of enjoying. You can enjoy and learn also. Now that is a different skill actually, to learn and enjoy. It's not about sitting with books and studying and just being conscious about what you're doing. So many things come into learning. You identify with what you know. Recognition is there, realization is there. You cannot say, oh, I'm learning English, but I really don't like it. You have to say, I'm studying English when you don't like it. Because sometimes you're forced to study certain portions, certain subjects when you really don't like it, and that's okay. You're forced, you have to do it because it's there in your curriculum. You have to get some pass mark, you should have the basic knowledge. You need to understand that this learning and enjoyment, they cannot be separate. They support each other. Okay, they support each other. That's how it goes on. That's how you progress as a learner. That's how you develop as an individual. Now, we are not here to prove our skills, to show that we know many words, to show that we are good with this particular accent, British accent, wow, American accent, wow, nothing like that. Don't be so obsessed with all these things. We are here to communicate. And one more thing is, listening and reading and speaking may not work with everyone. We have different techniques and strategies to learn a particular language. Now, some people may say you just listen to audios, okay, and you will get that particular accent. Some people say just read books. It may not work with everyone. You may have to do bits and pieces of every skill that's used towards developing a language. For example, you may have to listen when you're okay, when you're comfortable. You may have to read 2 pages. You may have to write 2-3 paragraphs and then try speaking. Now, just by listening to audios, I don't think you'll be able to completely get a good grasp on the accent. An accent is completely a choice. It's not a very big, you don't have to make a very big fuss about the accent. It's just a choice. So when you listen, of course, you get some idea about certain things, certain areas. It strikes you. You will pay attention to certain parts of the conversation or the content. But every time it may not work for a beginner. Every time it may not even work for an advanced learner. Some people say, I'm just comfortable reading books and that's how I learn every bit of the language. And then they try speaking, because speaking is there. That's when you get to practice. During writing also you get to practice. Okay, so the other part is receiving, where you read and listen. We have universal methods when it comes to English language teaching. But there also the theorists and the experts say that you need to see what is best for your learner. There are a lot of books and resources available in this field, English language teaching. I don't think any theorists say that you need to work only on these things. You have to first understand your requirement as a learner and then work on what really works best with you as a learner. You may take the advice and help of a tutor, a trainer, or whatever, whomever you're comfortable with, or even a resource. But this is what you have to understand. Learning never stops. If you're going to put an end to learning and then think that, oh, I will just enjoy the process, there also subconsciously learning is happening. So it's foolish to say, I stopped learning. Yes, you enjoy the learning. So if you tell yourself, I'm just wasting my time learning, I think that's utter foolishness, because when you enjoy something, you're gradually learning, you're evolving also. So learning doesn't happen only from books and only from whatever you think are the sources, the resources and the reservoirs of knowledge and information. It happens every time. It just comes like that. It's so transparent. Sometimes it's direct, sometimes it's indirect. Every bit is a learning process for you. So we are discussing on the English language here. We have been working on it, so that's why I took up this topic. I would suggest you to please and kindly get away from all the wrong notions of learning. Learning happens all the time. And sometimes people say, learn English without stress. Stress is something that you create. There again, it is subconscious. Nobody will say, okay, let me feel some stress and let me speak English, or let me just say no to stress. The more you say no, it will come near you. So everything is a subconscious effort which happens. It just happens gradually. But as a beginner, as an intermediate, also as an advanced learner, maybe the time frame, the duration varies. Okay, there are advanced learners who spend a lot of time studying certain things because those things are new to them. Beginners also study, intermediate learners also study. But when something is familiar to you, you may not have to study. So learning and studying, it is merged. So you cannot say that these things are separate. It happens together, and that's how you should be open to learning. Thank you so much. God bless you.